All right, so here's my solution to the assessment. I built Kochat. Naming is a slight reference to Kochanet. So Kochat is ideally or primarily a workspace chat application that offers real-time conversations between two or more users and also an on-demand AI assistant. So basically, we have email and password login, and we have our social logins here. So I would log in with GitHub now. So I would also there would be some random skips in between the video as Next.js development server takes a while to load components and also fetch data. Okay, so as you can see on the dashboard here, I have my username, which is my name, and my username. Also, you can see my conversations. This is a singular room whereby only two users can stay there. So to create a direct chat, I just enter the user name or the email and it creates a private room for us. So how that works is it takes my user ID and also the ID of the other user, it bonds them together and creates a one-to-one DM key. So I call it DM key on my room table. So once I create the direct chat, it assigns it a type of DM and also a DM key. So even if I try to like create a new chat with a particular user, it just checks does this DM key exist for both users. Then it reuses that particular chat. So also a user who does not have our DM key cannot access our chat. Also, I can create a group chat whereby I could have like more than a single user there or more than two members in the chat. So this would or primarily or this would ideally be used when you are creating like an organization community and you need your members to join. So what you just do is you name the group. I can name it Chat Community Community for Chat members. So it creates the group and then to join, you will just require the join code. So it's currently creating. Let me just pause it just because. So it has created the group, Kochat community, and the join code. So let me go back to the dashboard. You can see the room, there's no message here at the moment. So, all right. So as you can see, the Kochat community and my personal DM with the user is showing on my conversations. I can also join group with the group code. And then there's also my profile where I can update my bio data. So I can change my image, I can edit my profile, update my bio, and I can also turn on push notifications. So let's go into the DM first. All right, so this is a private conversation between I and username of Opeyemi33. So basically, we have our text box here where I can send a message to John. You would also notice we have a read receipt here. So we track when John read the message and then you are able to attach up to four images. You can either record audio or choose an audio file. You can take a picture and then AI actions are limited to 20 requests. So I made this a bit generous so that let's say you are having a conversation between your team and then you need the AI tool to assist you. So as you can see, I have previous messages. So all right, so let me jump back to latest and use the feature, but also, I can look at the group members. So ideally, this one will be best for Kochat. So I can see the members in this group. So as you can see, the members in this chat, you have John Doe and you have Ramanuga. So the reason why it's showing active for me is ideally because I'm currently in this room. So if a user is not in this room, it does not show active. So we don't track if a user is online or not. So we just track, okay, are you in this room? Because we use events. So once a user signs up to the room, it sends an event to the backend. The backend checks who is currently using the room at this point. Ramonuga is, so that is why I'm active. So let me test our chat feature. So I can send a message to John. Hey John. All right, so I sent the message, hey John, and then I can go to John account and then check if that particular message has been sent to me. So I want you to notice the red receipts. So in the meantime, while this is also loading, I would then try to record a voice note and tag the AI also to that. Okay, so let me record. Let me just tag that AI and then, hey, Kochat AI. So I'm trying to explain to John how catch the looping work so that we could stop the catch stampede that we're currently facing on one of our read AV endpoints. So I can stop that. So ideally, you're able to attach an image to a chat. I can attach an image. I can. I just recorded. I'm also able to attach audio recordings or even take a photo. So I can just take a photo and then at AI, give me a review of these images and answer or reply to my audio. So I can just send that and then it sends this message as once. So ideally, you are also only able to attach just 4 images to a chat message rather. Okay, so the chat has been uploaded. Hey, Kochat AI. So, okay, Ramon, let's take a look at these 2 images regarding your audio. So that is a bug, but I can fix that. The first image, so it's able to see I'm wearing white shirt and also like see the other image. So this is because I use Gemini AI actually. I use a multimodal agent which is able to pass both image, text, and audio or also video. So let me target AI. Could you please explain cache data pin to John? So also, a thing to note, I am currently using a stream. Like we don't use WebSockets, and the reason why I don't use WebSockets is I use beta out for my authentication layer. So to use Superbase WebSockets, I would have to switch from Superbase and from beta out back to Superbase, or try to create an handshake between both authentication layers and the assessment, like specifically mentioned for me to use better outs. So what I do is I use, okay, so the message is back. Hey, Raman, I already provided a detailed explanation to John. So basically, I already told it, so you can see it remembers context, and that was exactly what I wanted to show. It, I asked it to explain catch the pin to John. So if you can see, it explains it properly and then it specifies that. So I've also not showed the real time conversation. So this is John's account. I can just click on the conversation here. So if you see immediately to active is shown. So once it loads that, so hey Raman, so you can see it shows the latest message. So I can just say, hey Raman, I'm here now. So once I send that, you can see delivered. Hey Raman, I'm here now. And then it's red. So what I do in this instance, okay, let me record the voice note first. Okay, so we use a transcribe feature that transcribes audio to text for the AI to understand. So AI Kochat AI. So I'm trying to understand the difference between the different type of APIs that we have, where we have, we have REST, we have gRCP, we have WebSockets. So I we just want to know a quick, like the trade-offs between using each of these API services. Okay, that's AI, and then I send. Okay, so I have used my AI tokens up to a maximum. So I'm currently being rate limited by Google at the moment. So the AI feature is currently not working. I would have to create a new API kit later. So let me just go to the community and try to use it. Ideally, it's the same thing as DM, just that community can allow for public messages. So you would notice in the community, despite the second user being active, it's only showing one active here because I'm the only one in the community. So I can just copy the join code and then go join the community. Okay, back to dashboard. Taking longer than. Okay, so join group, enter the group code. Okay, so this is taking a bit of time. Let me try to talk about the other features that we have. Okay, I think I already did. So basically, one of the feature we also have is I can view a user profile. So next just takes a bit of time to. I don't know. I probably should have just used Stack Stats for this. All right, so the Kochat community has joined. So let me text in a community and just send this message. So I send a message and then I'm able to see, hi, I'm new here. Okay. Also, I can view a user profile from this section just to see is, so let me see the response. So I am new here. The next thing okay, you can also search for message. I think that would better be suited for my DM message. So I show you how the searching works. Then we discuss about the system architecture. Okay, so searching for messages, I can just type in a word. Let me type in hello. I think I sent that mostly. So it searches for the message and then I can just click on it and then it takes me to that particular message immediately. So you can see we have hello mate. So when I click on it, so the slowness is due to the way Next.js handles their dev server. To be honest, it's a bit frustrating, but there's only so much one can do. When I build it properly, then this should respond swiftly. But in the meantime, let me just go ahead and show. So we can see the dashboard. You can see the user profile Ramonoga. You see his name, his username, and then Kochat Demo. I think that's all the feature that we implemented. So while that is loading, I would love to talk about at least the system architecture. So let me go into the code. So basically, I use Next.js for both the front end and the back end, and this was because of the timeline that was given or the schedule that was given for the project. I thought about like integrating Nest.js like a backend with Nest.js or Express, but I felt that would take me a bit of time. So the media is handled by Superbase storage. They give us 1 gig free storage. So I set limits there that ensure that a user does not add beyond an audio file of 10 MB or a chat, an image of 10 MB also. And then if you notice, we have our lib folder. So I want you to pay attention to the folders. So rather than having hooks, stores, maybe like repositories, so I don't do that. And the reason being that I prefer my code base to or my code base to have a feature based architecture whereby each feature is contained in its own container or in its own folder. So if you notice here, we have AI. So we have AI clients, we have the utilities that we use to consume the AI. We also have the types. So everything we have the configuration. So the configuration being the system prompt we give it, the transcript prompt. We have the schema, our we use Zod. We have our AI service. So we also have our AI types. Then we have our Gemini AI client. So basically what I do is I abstracted this AI client here. So it only just uses I can just come here and say, okay, tomorrow I don't want to use Gemini and then just add a case for Claude or ChatGPT, like GPT. So it's not that okay, this is hard coded into our application. This is the Gemini client. So this I can have a new file and just call name it as OpenAI client.ts. So there's that. We also have authentication. We have our auth clients. There's a tool we use. We use Authrail. So Authrail, basically I built this tool. So if you notice, it serves as a composable middleware for authentication. So if user is not verified, you will notice it redirects the user to verify your email. If user is not onboarded. Also, I used Drizzle for our database ORM. As you can see here, we have our schema accounts, that's for beta out. Session verification, those are for beta out. We have our user schema, we have the ID, name, email verified, the username, so the bio, the image. Our user, we make it okay, we ensure that the user does not really hold much data beyond what it should. Then we have the room. So basically, you can see the ID of the room, the name, the description, that's when you're creating a room. The type. So the type being that you can either have a room of DM or a room of group, and then the code to join a room. So a DM key. Only a room with what's it called? If you can see, we have a check here. So only a room with that is of type DM would require or have a DM key. We also create unique indexes on particular items like the DM key so that for fast retrieval during queries. I think the next one is we have member. The reason why we have this member is since the relationship between room to user is many to many, a user can be in multiple rooms. A room can also have multiple users. So we use a join table. So we join room and members together. You see the ID, the room ID, the user ID, both would act as a composite index, as you can see, room ID and user ID there. We also have the role of that particular user, which is just member. We check the archive that. So this one would be used later. Let's say like you're archiving a room or you're archiving a message. Then the way we do the read receipts is that we track the last read message. So the message that was read by a particular user in the group. It is simple, but it is easy to track. So we can just okay, this message has been read. So ideally, these are our schemas. We also have AI usage, so we track how long you've used the AI or your limits. We track your limits, and then we have email. We use Node Mailer to send authentication mails like OTPs and during sign up and also during forgot password flow. We have the messages, we have, so everything is contained in its own. If you can see the message repository, so these are just crude operations: find by ID, find detail by ID. We have our hook, our use room message, we have our types, we have the schema, and we have the service that handles the business logic. So ideally, this is how it's worked. We have our utils, super base, then also, okay, I think that is all regarding the lib. So we use Next.js. So the reason why I have repository and services, because I wanted to ensure that our Next.js controllers, like the routes, they only, so this is for authentication. This is how Beta Auth handles the authentication. So we just create an all route. So they handle everything on their own end. All we just need to do is to pass the options to Beta Auth. So one thing I want you to notice is, okay, what is it called? We ensure that we do not do, we use services which contains the business logic. We do not handle business logic in a controller layer. So yeah, we treat this as a controller layer. So we just say, okay, we track the session. This is to delete like a notification. We track the session. We validate the schema. Is the schema valid? If not, we throw an error, and then we use the service to perform certain actions, and we return success. So we have a client in lib. Let me get us home. We have a client. We do not, we use due to the issue with Axios. So I used fetch. So this, I create like a self-hosted client, or like a client that handles my HTTP request. And then I have an HTTP layer. This is ideally for my error or for success. So you can see here for success response. And then in components, so pages, I ensure that pages stayed as a server-side component. We do not really like write JSX or much JSX in pages. We use components for that. Also components, I use feature-based. So everything on the authentication, your sign in, your sign up, everything like this is the JSX. These are components that can be reused. So shared components, this is like your pagination, our GitHub icon, our Google icon, the sign out button, the team toggler. So we use that. You would also see for rooms, okay, for workspace rather, the components that we have. And then UI are basically the shared CI components that we use. So about the trade-offs, I would say, okay, this is taking a bit too long. Let me just pause it. Okay, so let me first talk about the first thing I would try to do if I was given a bit more time. So the push notifications, I could not really verify if it works. Also, it has, so if I turn off my data, okay, the recording will stop. So currently the it has like an offline mode, but the offline mode does not support messages yet. It just like checks that okay, you're offline, and just keeps you in the limbo state. So ideally, what we should do is okay, you're able to send message, it keeps it offline, and then once you're online back, it just sends that particular message. Another thing again is our search. It's good because we only like scope it to this particular room. We check your chat, hello mate, something, and then we keep it in that particular. We use the room ID to check okay, this person is searching in this room, and then we use a cursor base. So if you can see, we do not have the numbers. We just use the previous and next. So all the search feature in the application uses cursor based pagination, and the reason being that I do not, ideally limit will work for like a simple application, but if it's to scale and we need search, we should use something that okay, like a cursor based pagination, because if you're trying to use limit, you tell it okay, I need the next page, so it should offset, just forget 100, the first 100. So when you scale to like a million rows, you would start to face performance issues or latency issues, because the database is trying to read maybe a million rows before it moves to the next page. Also, the next thing is, so for the authentication, I decided to use Google and GitHub because I'm a software engineer, and ideally, these are platforms I use on a daily basis. Um, okay, I think the next So I use Node Mailer because since it's a free mail service, I use it to send OTPs rather than trying to get resend or trying to like pay for a particular mailing service. And then so the real time, let me even discuss about the real time chatting or the real time conversation. So it's not a WebSocket server because trying to integrate WebSocket into Next.js, it's a bit tricky and there's a bit of workaround you have to do with it. If I was going to use Superbase real time, I would have to use Superbase authentication, which would also enable me to have enabled role level security. But since my clients and none of my clients could interact with our database or like Superbase directly, only my backend does. So I discovered, okay, since the assessment asked me to use better out, so I do not really want to like undergo the handshake between Betaut and Superbase. So why not just create a stream so everyone subscribes to that stream? So once you get to a room, you subscribe to that stream. We have events like a user is typing, we track that, like with the bounce and track. Also, we track, okay, a message is sent. Then the live mode, we do not just check, okay, is a user logged in? No, we check so every event that happens, we send like a presence request that tracks, okay, is this user in this room or who are the number of users currently in this room? It tracks that and then it keeps, okay, it shows that we have the active user. So that is basically what Kochat is about. I said I wasn't going to go beyond 15 minutes, but this I'll say the next, at least for me, the features I would add to this would be editing messages, being able to change like the AI, being able to like okay, add settings. Okay, I want my AI to respond in this manner. I want to be able to okay bring my own API keys. I want to be able to use my own AI models. That is another feature. I've mentioned search earlier, whereby okay we use PG search like Postgres full text search rather than trying to just like just copy it and then do a normal query. And the reason being that if I'm using a full text search, it enables like it improves the query performance because it checks for more. It uses the algorithm best matching 25 to check the query relevance to what I have on the table. And I think maybe adding more social providers, at least like Discord, Slack, I think that is something I could look to add. And then making the application, the offline mode, be able to send messages or look at old messages that were already like, you know, gotten when the user was online. So also it's responsive. That's before I go. Like I ensured, okay, the application, sticks to the right side so you could send message. Let me take this out and then back to messages. So make sure everything is self-contained within the visible width or within the max screen width. Okay, I think that is all from my end, and yeah, thank you.